Morning everyone. How's everyone? Had their coffee already? Ready to start? Okay, I think we're expecting a few more people. Maybe they'll, come a bit later, but I think we better start. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the Green Talks with FM, and this is our second Green Talks. The first one was held last month, and it was focused on the F&B industry. And today, as you know, we're focusing on the facilities management. So my name is Sharon Sambi, and I'm actually the event director for Zureli. And on behalf of all the organizers, I would like to welcome everyone to this event where the FM industry can start thinking, interacting, and taking action towards greener operations. That's the whole aim of these Green Talks. We hope this event will catalyze some new green initiatives. So later, if everyone, actually towards the end of the program, we have an opportunity for you guys to share some of the green initiatives that you have implemented in your own operations. Okay, so just get ready for that. So the Green Talks is actually a series which is co-hosted by Zureli and Sunway Iskandar and supported by the Iskandar Regional Development Authority. I would also like to thank all the participating showcase companies in the event today. So here they are. We have got Gaussian Robotics, GNC Sunrise, SolarBee, and Back Free, and the Nurturing Co. And Green RE is a certification body. In addition, we'd also like to include NGOs in our event. So today we have got two NGOs here, Food Surplus and Friends and Strangers, who will be also giving a short presentation later. Okay, have a look at the program for today. So we will start off with a few presentations, starting off with Tim Warrington, who's the director of Zureli, who will set the stage. And then at about 10:50, before the community groups give their introduction, that's when you have the opportunity to share some of your green initiatives. Okay, and then at about 11, all the talks will be over, and there will be some refreshments and further opportunity for networking, visiting the booths, and also interacting with each other. We will also be having a lucky draw right at the end of the session. And for those who are interested to find out more about Sunway Iskandar, there's actually a tour of the whole Sunway Iskandar. So do take this opportunity to sign up for the tour at the front desk. I think they'll be using the golf buggies to take you guys around. Should be very interesting. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce the first speaker. Tim is the co-founder of Zureli.com. The next slide, which is the largest global portal for sustainable products and services. He himself is a great supporter of sustainable and eco-friendly products and has worked in various businesses dealing with sustainable products. Tim will be setting the stage for today's Green Talks by sharing some insights on why going green is actually good for business, and also about Zureli. So without further ado, please help me to welcome Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you for coming. Change your hands. There are more people alive today than have ever died, which is quite a staggering statistic. And what does that actually really mean in real terms? Well, if we look at the built environment, which is what we're all involved in here today, there's some quite amazing statistics. But by 2030, the population will exceed 8 billion people. The real estate market will actually involve over 5 billion of those living in cities. $15 trillion will be spent on construction and the built environment.
and the investable value of that will be 70 trillion. So I guess you lot are in the right industry, because it's got a long-term growth ahead of it. 750 cities represent 61% of world GDP. And that requires 260 million new homes and 540 million square meters of new office space. So those that manage offices, your future is bright. But if we look at the other side of that, building requires or consumes 41% of all energy that we use on the planet, which is greater than transport and greater than industry. So we have a responsibility in the built environment to try and address some of these issues. Let's go back a step. Wellness is a relatively new word. It certainly wasn't around when I was a kid. And basically what it is saying that we now actually requires human beings to be healthier and happier, and we demand a higher level of the built environment to actually try and look after us. And it actually has a very positive effect on our well-being. If we cycle to work every day, which I can see from the amount of push bikes outside, none of us have, but if we were, that would increase our health and it would make us live longer. And the whole environment now around wellness is becoming a well-established, understood principle. It increases the engagement of society, so if we have an environment that is actually built with wellness in mind, that society operates better than one that doesn't. If we look at the way people operate and work, certainly historically, if you were working down a coal mine on the face of the rock, you would have every reason to be depressed and unhappy. But if you're working in a nice environment, that obviously has a huge impact on your life and those around you. One example of that is in Australia. I heard that a primary school with little kids this high repainted the school, and they painted it in an environmentally friendly water-based paint. And months later, they found out that the cases of asthma in young children had dropped by 60% in that school. So that had a huge impact on the wellness of these children, just by changing one factor, i.e. the paint. So the decisions that we make in the built environment can have a huge impact on our children and our children's children. And I think we have to look at the big picture when it comes to product cycle, life cycle, return on investment, not just the immediate cost. But obviously the immediate cost is what shareholders want, stakeholders want in business. They want to see their bottom line, their profits increase. They've got to be expanding, driving forward. And when we look at things like corporate welfare, if we have offices that are well lit, with good air quality, with chairs that don't break our backs when we spend 8 hours on a computer, and if we do all those factors within an office environment, that has a huge effect because it reduces the amount of sick days. We've also known that productivity of offices that have been well managed, well designed, and well operated increase productivity. If you've got a happy office with people who are enjoying working for you, you're going to reduce the turnover of staff. If you're reducing the turnover of staff, you're not paying recruiting agents to find replacements. You're actually saving money by not having to retrain people. You're saving management time. So there's a huge cost benefit from trying to create a wellness environment in the corporate world. The other thing that a good office encourages is a really good team spirit. So again, if you've got less sick days, higher productivity, reduced turnover staff, a better working environment and a better team attitude, that all impacts on the bottom line of the company. So it's important to look at these improvements and these changes, not just for the upfront cost, but what are the improvements you're doing throughout the whole organisation. And those of you at FM and management of properties have a huge role to play in this. So, Zerelli.com, who are we, what are we about, why are we doing it? Well, I think all of us would agree that the status quo of the way we're burning our resources on the planet cannot continue. We've got 9 billion people coming online over the next few years. What we're doing at the moment has to change, and I don't think any of us in this room would doubt that. What is the discussion points are how we conduct change. We also know, and survey after survey confirms this, that the population today has never been more aware of green issues than they are today. And you talk to the children, and you talk to the young, the millenniums, and the strawberries, and whatever else they're called these days, and they're all way more conscious about environmental issues than we ever were, or I certainly was. One of the great things about the job I do is, because I'm interacting with companies all the time with new products and things, is that there are so many solutions that are already out there. Solutions to problems that people just don't know are there. And so we have a situation where many of the problems that we face within the built environment, there are solutions to. The problem is, how do we connect A with B? And Xarelli, its core value, I suppose, is to do exactly that as an information platform. The other problem that I feel we have, and I think we just have to look at anybody's inbox these days, is the amount of information that we are fed. I mean, it's just information overload. And if you go onto and you search for products, you look for something, there's just a myriad of products, and you have to search many different ways to find what you're looking for. So I think that is also another problem. I think if we can't find the solution, we won't use the solution. And if we don't know the solution, well, we don't know the solution. So I think there's another issue there. So the idea of Xarelli is that we become the one-stop shop for green products, technologies, and services. And our mission is to inspire healthy communities by promoting green technology. This is, if you like, the sustainable industry. We have thousands of websites, hundreds of thousands of websites. We have buyers and specifiers where you lot fit into. We have 6 to 9 billion people looking for solutions. We have green associations and governments that are trying regulating the industry and trying to promote green where they can. We have trade shows. We have millions of products that can help that we don't know about, and we have tens of thousands of companies that actually have solutions that people don't know about. So the disconnect is trying between all those different sectors, and where we fit as a company, we fit in here. So the idea of Xarelli is to promote the use of technology that helps the environment, and to build the largest and most comprehensive sustainable resource for business consumers. Although we are primarily a B2B platform, we're not exclusively a B2B platform, because we feel that if people can find a solution and they can find a company that can supply that, then why don't they? So that is part of what we do. So we do that in 3 ways. Xarelli.com is fundamentally a database of companies and products that supply sustainable products and services. The concept behind Xarelli was to actually make it an easy platform to use, to make it clean and straightforward, to help engage one side with the other, and try and put in as few barriers to entry as we possibly could. So you don't have to sign up. You don't have to give us your email address if you want to find a product. We don't need to know what age you are. We don't need the inside leg measurement for you. You can just go and find a product. It's that simple. And that was very important to the whole strategy of Xarelli. We just wanted to keep it clean. So you won't find lots of adverts on our site. We don't do advertising in that way. In fact, Xarelli.com is a free listing site for anybody who's in the sustainable green environment. So I don't know about you, but I get sick to death of going onto websites these days with pop-ups here and sign up here and do this and do that. And so you will find none of that on our site. We're just trying to connect the problem and the solution. We now operate with a keyword search opposed to a categorization. When we first launched, it was more category driven, but actually that is a bit old fashioned. And so we've gone for more of the Google approach, is where you actually have a keyword search opposed to categorization. So this is, if you like, the start of the Xarelli. This is a company profile for a company actually in Singapore. And we start with the profile. Here we have a little bio about the company, because we believe that if you're going to buy a product from a company, it would be nice to know something about the company. We have the phone number, the email address, and the website that are links that go straight through to their information. So we don't get in the middle of that connection. If you want to speak to this company, click on the email and you go straight through to the company. If you want to look at their website, look at their website. We do have some quite interesting articles on the site that we handpick. We go for more of a positive view to green than the negative view. We leave the negative side to the big broadcasters, the BBCs, CNNs, that do a great job in promoting what's going wrong, but don't do such a good job on what's going right. So we have a tendency to focus on the more positive aspects of green. Green talks. Well, you're in green talks. This is a green talk. And the idea here is to try and connect people with solutions. And the internet is great. It's the most phenomenal tool that we've ever seen. But it does lose some of that personal contact. Actually meeting people face to face is still a very important aspect of doing business. And I think the fact that we have so many people here today vindicates this. And we've been asked now to roll out this concept through Singapore, Sydney and Hong Kong. So we are getting traction in this concept. But it does require the support of the people like you and the people that have come here to show off their products. And we believe that it will make a difference. As Sharon mentioned earlier, we do a number of talks, though not exclusively. The idea is that each sector has their own particular requirements. So there's no point talking to, I don't know, a restaurant about solar power farms in Saudi Arabia. So let's try and keep the audience relevant to the speakers. So that in fact, everybody here has something in common. When we go to the big shows, I was at Beck's last week in Singapore, 200 companies, 25,000 people, but obviously not all 25,000 people were interested in all those products. So what we're trying to do here is to have a low-cost, easy way of people to connect, more in a personal way. The Green Catalogues, which sits on a sister platform of ours, Zerelli.green, it is like, Green Talks gone online. So here again, what we're doing is we're producing catalogues that are industry focused. So products that, say, facilities management might require, which might be some of these, paints, etc., outdoor equipment, workstations for offices, etc. And what we do is we have interactive links between the catalogue and our portal, our database. Very simple to operate, so you receive an online catalogue. You pick on, say, a workstation that you like the look of, and this takes you through to the database back in Zerelli.com. So we're using Zerelli.com as, if you like, the main database, the core of the business, and then we attach other products alongside it to help promote the use of green technology. At the top here, you'll see that if the product is certified, and if the certified office has given us permission, which many haven't, but a lot have. For instance, Malaysian Green Building Council won't come on our site, the Singapore Green Building Council won't come on our site, despite hours of conversation, but anyway, one day they will. So that will sit here. So if the product is certified, and this link will take you to their page within Zerelli, so you can find out how green is green. Because obviously each certification has a different set of criteria, and therefore some are deemed to be green, some are deemed to be greenwash, and all sorts of things. So this way, we're giving the supplier the chance to promote the fact that they are green, and we're also giving the buyer the opportunity to find out more about that certificate and how relevant it is to that job, because certain jobs might require certain certifications. We then make it easy to get more information. You can get a price list, catalogue, etc. So that's a straight through link. We then have this little cool product, which I think is cool. And basically what you can now do is you can now save that product to your own personal project file. So if you're running 4 or 5 projects and you need different equipment for different jobs, you can actually store that separately within the Zerelli platform. And that was an idea given to me by a friend who suggested it, and I think it's a cracking idea. You can also then send that information to a colleague, because obviously most of us are working in teams, and so if you find some information on the site that you think is relevant, you can then post that internally to your colleague so they can have a look at it, you can have a discussion about it. Again, trying to facilitate this information transfer between the buyers and the sellers. You've also got a link back to the company, which is the company page that we saw earlier, and a link to and other products that they provide. So the idea here is that you've got a very good idea of the product, the company, before you look at buying it. We also work with as many organisations as we can, and because we believe they're very important to the whole green debate. We have quite a few companies that are promoting green, GECA for instance, Australia, and Sunway obviously here, who've been a great help to us to put these events on. We also work with some of the green building councils. We work with a tree planting organisation and this organisation that promotes green education in schools. So if your children want to know about some green products, or your school wants to get involved in an organisation that particularly promotes eco-friendly products within schools, this company here has a programme to take the green debate right down to school level, because we believe that if the children can start embracing these ideas, then we can all benefit from it. And this is why we're doing it, because these photographs of climate change and warming and the destruction that we're causing just have to stop. I passionately believe that we have a responsibility to the planet that we're on, and I believe that people in this room can help to instigate change. None of us individually are going to make a huge difference, but collectively we'll make a massive one. And so the whole idea of Zarelli is to facilitate that transfer of information and technology from the people that are inventing these ideas. And there's some fabulous stuff out there. There are so many good ideas coming online, but it's just very, very difficult to find. So that's where Zarelli fits in the green debate. And together, let's help the world go green. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tim. We will actually have a Q&A right at the end, so we won't be having Q&A after each speaker, okay? So you can save your questions for later. The next speaker is from Sunway Property, Mr. Eugene Fu. He's the manager of the Business and Corporate Relations at the Property Division of Sunway. And actually Eugene is part of a team that has been vital in making the Green Talk series a reality, working closely with Zarelli. And that team includes Dr. Jared Cole, who is the CMO of Sunway Property, and also Esther and Snow. Snow's here today, so she's been a great help in setting up the venue and helping us with all the logistics. So please join me to welcome Eugene, who will be giving an overview of the business opportunities at Sunway and highlighting some of the green initiatives that they have been incorporating in their facilities management.
Thanks, Shashan. Alright, before I go into my presentation, I would like to share with you all some videos of what the Sunway is all about. Let's roll the video. Yeah. So Sunway actually, it's not just about property or Sunway Lagoon kind of things that most people think of, but it comprises of many components, businesses, about 12 line of businesses that we have. Sunway have, okay, we'll go through first. Okay, Sunway actually started in the year 1974 from Tin Mine, it's an abundant mine actually, as up to today, where it comes with property, educations, the theme park, the hospitality in terms of hotels, malls, even we move into a medical center at the healthcare. Yeah, this is what it is previously in 1986. So Sunway is all about community buildings. As what we're talking about today is the FM. So Sunway plays a very vital role in terms of to build communities from the buildings, people, and whole processes to run this whole places, all these components. Yeah, so this is what it is today. It's very vibrant. With not just can live there, but you can play, you can work there as well, and you can just within the same area you can do send your children for educations, for medical, healthcare. Yeah, so this is what it is. I can see it's very vibrant from the hotels to the. Okay, this is we call it the Sunway Lagoon. In terms of education wise, and of course around is the residential. So of course everyone already knows, most people know that Sunway is most famous for his Sunway Lagoons, the theme park. So in terms of this, in fact, of course, there's a lot of involvement in terms of the facility management. As you can see earlier that in the video, we have about close to 15,000 workforce to run this whole processes in terms of running this whole city. Hospitality, we have hotels, Sunway Hotels, the resorts, we have Sunway Clio, Sunway Resort, the Sunway Lagoon Hotel as well. So in fact, all this should be actually replicated into Sunway Iskandar as well. And in terms of that, actually, in fact, by year end of next year, we're going to have the our Sunway Lagoon, Sunway Hotel as well in our Sunway Big Box. So Pyramid is where you can have family time and go shopping. And there are Sunway properties, we are all across in Malaysia, from the north to the south. This Sunway South Key, yeah. So it's also abandoned the Tin Mine. This is another. There's two tin mines. One is the South Key, which is with our. This is the most premium residential, and as well as the one in Sunway Lagoon. And we also have other assets as well. In Sunway, you can see this is actually a Sunway Putra. Also in KL, we have quite a number of malls all across Malaysia, 4 malls, and as well as you can see it's a medical center as well. Sunway also comprises of one of the businesses is construction as well. So Pinewood Studios, Legoland in southern region actually is constructed by Sunway Construction. This was mentioned, Legoland. Yeah, most of the buildings across Malaysia in terms of Sunway properties are built by Sunway Construction. And we project in Abu Dhabi, and as well as we have building materials in terms of providing. So Sunway also do manufacture building materials. Tradings. In fact, in terms of the medical facilities wise, we have all these facilities in our medical center. We just announced a few weeks back, we have groundbreaking of a medical center in Penang as well. So we have one in central region, the northern region, and soon we have another one will be in the southern region as well. Yeah, you can see all across Malaysia. This will be announced soon. Yeah, so in terms of the malls wise, we have Sunway Pyramid, In Penang as well, we have the Sunway Mall, and in the southern region, coming is a Sunway Big Box. Maybe some of you are aware, Sunway Giza also belongs to Sunway as well. Sunway Community World Mall in Penang, Putra Mall in KL, Velocity, which is a new addition in Cheras area. And yeah, this is Sunway Penang. We have multiple plots of lands in the mainland as well as in Penang Island itself. Yeah, and now currently Sunway Valley City is going through refurbishment, so it will be more bigger, established. And Ipoh-wise, we have about 100,350 acres. So this is the second biggest land bank in for Sunway. So this is also about 20 over years old, and we have from properties to the theme park as well. The Sunway Lagoon and Sunway Southward Tambun. Yeah, this is one. So Banjaran is another of our projects resort. Maybe some of you might have heard of it. Those who haven't, maybe can try it out as well, because it's very very nice, to try out. Loswara Tambun, this is a resort in Ipoh, and we also have projects in Singapore in terms of residential, India. So we cover quite other regions, China, and of course Sunway Iskandar. So Sunway Iskandar will be the biggest land that Sunway owns, and it's going to be a 20 to 30 years plan. So what we will see in KL, Ipoh, everything actually will be going to replicate in terms of educations, the properties, the malls, the theme parks, in terms of healthcare. So I believe some of you might know that we are just across of Singapore. 5 km is a new highway to Singapore Second Link. Yeah, this overall is our projects, which comprises of 6 areas. So it sits in a beautiful ecosystem in terms of nature. This is a view of, from our level 37 for the apartment. So you can see, in fact, see across JB Town, and in a very clear blue day, in fact, you can see Singapore Marina Bay actually. So, and also we're very close to the Second Link. So this is our future project in terms of seafront. Once we develop this whole area, in terms of the internal wise, this will be the last, probably will be our last projects. So in terms of what's going on in the whole development in terms of Sunway, of course we will not disregard the ecosystem in terms of nature. Sunway is all about sustainable and emphasize on green. This picture is taken actually is from the Google. Everyone knows that this is Amazon, very green. So actually Sunway sits within, quite similar in terms of the Amazon. We have the mangrove, beautiful land of among the natures. Actually, all this just sits just next to us only. So with all this development-wise going across, out of 1,800 acres, we only can develop around 60%. So we still have to maintain the greens. Alright, that's where we are. So we just right across, nearby. Yeah. So this is where we are, yeah, just across Singapore. We have actually one more asset over just facing Singapore. Actually, previously it was Sunway's office, and now we turned it into the co-working space. It's a GBI building, in fact. In the next couple of years, all this project will complete by 2021. So we have the X-Park, the Big Village, which is the mall, the first ever the petrol station in Iskandar Puteri. Will be here ready by the open probably around next month or 2. Yeah, more nature around the Sunway Iskandar. Yeah. So we do have some boat ride. If those interested, maybe you can just let us know. Yeah, can bring us around. Alright. So even we have our own nursery. So we are very into sustainable. So we plant our own plants back into the ecosystem. Okay, I will run through quick one. These are Citrine build. The hub. So it comprises of retails, office buildings, and as well as the residential. In terms of GBI wise, in terms of the green initiatives, in fact this building we use very minimal of air cons, so it's mainly natural air. First Jaragrosa in Johor. So we are into also the education in terms of Sunway International School, which is already open since last year. So yeah, this is more on the upcoming by 2021. All this will be up and running. Right, just sit next to the highway to Singapore. Alright, besides residential, we have the shop lots, commercials, apartments, bungalows, services, petrol stations. Yeah, this is a big box as mentioned. We'll be ready by end of next year. X Park, we have Legoland here, but of course, Legoland is not for every one of us because most of the games we can't really play. So this is mainly for people like us and family as well. So you can have indoor and outdoor 20 activities. We are from the glamping to paintball. For those who want the too extreme, we have the driving range as well. So this will be ready the first phase by next 2 months, and by next year we fully open. This is a new highway, and it's about 5 km to Singapore. In terms of transportation wise, we already have the public transport already running every hour into this our Sunway Iskandar. And this is Sunway is very committed into the SDG goals. So it's going to apply not just in KL but all across the region. So we have we really encourage people to walk instead of drive. In KL, we built the Kunti Walk, encourage the students, the working people to walk instead of drive. Of course, safety is one of the main priorities. So we have in fact not just a security guard, we have auxiliary police all across our township. BRT system, the first BRT system in Malaysia. So it's also fully operated electricity as well. Water treatments, so we recycle back the water. We are very into the ecosystem in terms of nature, so we also have the trees planted back into the township. In terms of our office buildings, we have already using the energy management to cut down electricities. Also, in terms of all these items that we implemented. We're also doing a lot of CSR in terms of to give back to the communities as well. And also in KL we already have implemented the zone in terms of Sunny KL as a smoke-free area. Yeah. For Sunway Iskandar, we are moving into that actually. Wi-Fi, of course, is everyone is priority. So it's in KL wise already fully Wi-Fi in the whole Sunway town. So all this is more of the other components that we have, Sunway Cities, which is also going to implement in Sunway Iskandar. Medical Center. We also have an innovation lab, a co-working lab in KL as well. So we are also going to implement it together into Sunway Iskandar. Yeah, this is a new co-working space which is going to operate just at the tip of the most southern of Sunway Iskandar. We also would like to do a lot of events as well to see what we can do together in terms of the business collaboration as well. Because Sunway have a lot of this kind of initiatives in terms of the job line businesses. So we do encourage the companies to contribute, to see what we can do together to build a city itself. Because we can't do it by ourselves. and we need the participants to build together. Right? This is some of the events that we held since last year to bring in, to drive the community, to drive the businesses. Yeah. So I think I already finished my slide. So this, since last year. All right. So for families, businesses, so these are all the initiatives that we have. All right, so that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eugene. So Sunway truly is an amazing company, and I also like looking at the resorts and thinking, wow, wouldn't mind visiting those. Anyway, now we're going to start the showcase presentation. So the first company to present is Gaussian Robotics. Daryl Pat will be presenting on how technology increases productivity for facilities management. More efficient and sustainable management of facilities means less wastage of resources, and so this is also considered a green initiative. Daryl is the head of the robotics deployment at Gaussian Robotics, and he takes charge of robotics implementation of various roles across facilities. Daryl also looks at integrating the new FM technologies to aid productivity through innovations such as quality audit software, workforce resource allocation, and IoT sensor technology. Daryl has implemented such solutions across major clients such as Singapore SMRT, Singapore Changi Airport, Marina Bay Sands, Resorts World Sentosa, amongst many others. So please join me to welcome Daryl. Thank you.
Alright, okay, sorry. Am I using my weird? Okay, so good morning. I'm Daryl from Gaussian Robotics. And Gaussian Robotics is together with IFSC. We are proud to present the next generation ecosystem for technology in the facilities management space, FM space. I must caveat up front that it's not going to be very obvious how the suite of technologies I'm about to present to you is going to fit the green and sustainable theme of this event. But I'll summarize right at the end the opportunities that new technologies will bring when it comes to being more eco-friendly. So starting from the top, we have our EcoBot range of robots. They are an integration between man and machine, or that's what we like to think about it. So we think about machines being able to do stuff that are more repetitive and that they can do more consistently and more efficiently compared to a human. And then we need the humans to do stuff that the machines cannot do. The higher value tasks, like cleaning a toilet, for example. Next on its left, we have our RIS Workforce Resource Management Smartwatch for a real way to measure and monitor productivity and in a lean and productive workforce. Okay. Then we have our smart toilets and our smart sensors whether it's in a bin or in a people counter or on a panel on the wall. We use all that to then tell us to change the paradigm of how we clean a toilet or when to clean a toilet in that sense. And also, these sensors come along with a lot of the AI components where it can predict and help you improve your processes and your workflow to then see when you want to do an activity. Okay, and the last one is we use a quality audit system to remove the need for paper and the exercise of using paper. So we say paper one, we also make it more efficient and make everything more real time. So you don't have to go back and forth and compile and waste human resource doing such things. So very quickly, we go into what the EcoBot Scrub 75 is. This is us designing a machine in response to a cleaning industry's requirements. There are many right-on scrubbers in the market, but we really wanted to fix three problems that the cleaning companies continue to face even if they use a right-on scrubber. Right-on scrubbers cannot clean corners, they are very big in size, they take a lot of water, they use a lot of battery, and then we needed something that, if we can create autonomous, should also be able to be used manually. We didn't want a push-behind system, we wanted something that if a old cleaner, which is the typical demographic of a cleaner in Singapore. If they were to use a machine, they wanted them to be able to use it fairly comfortably. So we designed this with those three big requirements, those three big problems we wanted to solve, and then we designed a machine that has now features like the 6-hour operation runtime, water filtration system, the ability to clean edge to edge because of its front-mounted brush head, and in that we'll be able to clean corners. We put in a variety of sensors to test out which is the best at the start, but I realized that the combination of all of them is probably the best idea. They see different things, they are meant for different purposes, and then if we have all of them on the machine on board at one time, we can do more with the machine. Yeah, we wanted to make everything as easy for both the cleaner as well as the person that is doing the initial deployment and the mapping to any location at any one point in time. So I don't know if this will work. Okay, so you'll see on your right, you'll see 2 videos. I hope they play one after the other. You see them running in operation. Basically, these are the sites we run the machine. The machine is fully autonomous at times. It will move around, it will clean the floor while you're moving around. If it sees people, it will stop. And it prioritizes safety over anything. And this is the top. This is Changi Airport Terminal 3, and this is run video very poor choice of a date. Okay, essentially they gave us a date which was the school holiday or school excursion period. We ran the machine at 10, so at like 9:45 there was nobody there, and then at 10 in the morning there were busloads of human beings, from little children to secondary school students coming out to walk around, and then so that's that. But more importantly, it's about efficiency, right? So when you run a machine, you expect the machine to then not say replace, but be more efficient than a human. And we have done some of our calculations in math, and every machine will give you a manpower saving of between 0.4 to about 2 headcount per location per run. But to fit the theme, this is where I tell you that the water savings between a traditional machine and our water filtration that we set up means that we are able to save 100 to 300 liters of water per 6-hour run per 10,000 square meters of give and take. And then this would mean that you could possibly save up to about 9,000 liters of water per month. And this is done through the use of filters. But the use of filters was really meant to give the machine a longer operating time, apart from just battery life. So these are some of the sites we're running at. We've got Changi Airport, Marina Bay Sands, Resorts World Sentosa, NUS, Downtown East, Ocean Financial Center. We can do a range of airports to commercial buildings to retail spaces. And we run this machine also in a couple of different countries. Started off with Australia. Now we have the machine running at Hong Kong, we have it in Korea, we have it in Qatar, and then also Germany. Yep. We clean a lot of airports essentially. Big spaces, perfect for the machine. But then we had a problem. We wanted to clean a smaller space, and we wanted the machine to do more than just be autonomous and still require cleaning. So we worked with a couple of companies and a couple of government initiatives, like JTC, for example. So they wanted something that would integrate into the cleaning workforce more naturally. They wanted, like I said before, the machine to do the consistent, repetitive floor cleaning work, which is, if you use a human, if you use a mop, they would have to try to go in the corners and stuff like that. If you use a right-on scrubber, they will still have to drive it. So a human still has to go on it, prep the machine, run it. If all that could be replaced by a robot, essentially. We also came up with a new term called minimum human intervention operation. I'll explain that a little bit later. And we wanted to, most importantly, at the end of the day, apart from safety, is to still maintain a very high quality clean. So we designed the Scrub 50, known for its scrub deck size. So this is essentially the 75 has a 75 cm scrub deck. This 50 has a 50 cm scrub deck, and is intended to fulfill this role. If you were to use a human being and a mop and a pail, including the time it takes to refill, you think that to clean 5,000 square meters daily for a month, it will take about 3 hours, 300 hours. And then just to clean, and then 30 hours to do the daily change the water and stuff. If you use a manual scrubber, its efficiency increases by 2, so therefore it moves faster, it cleans a bigger area. But you still need to change water like and like throw the water away and stuff like that. Filling water takes time. If you use the robot, Scrub Certified, well, the machine does most of the work. You still need to put in 15 hours per month to fill in and change the water, change the filters, wash all that. So we decided to build a machine that would not require that. It will be able to charge itself, wash itself, fill its own water, and then at the best case scenario, take the lift by itself. That's how we integrate the cleaning, and therefore establishing true efficiency. Yeah, like I said, auto charging, auto filling, auto discharging, and this is roughly what it looks like. We still wanted to keep to the same principles. We wanted to be able to clean the corner. We wanted to be able to take up less space but have efficiency. Yeah. And so this is our robot. Yeah. So right now we're running a bunch of tests as a proof of concept. We appeared papers recently in Singapore, and we really only showcased this machine somewhere in CSS about 2 months ago. We have tested it up to being able to cover 1,400 square meters per hour. Battery capacity of lithium-ion batteries can last for about 2 to 3 hours. But water within, probably not so long, depending on how dirty your place is. So it has to go back to the dock, switch out the water, and then come out again. Or we are experimenting with running a filtration system within, so that the water goes through like maybe 1 or 2 filters and then come out. Yeah. And then of course on top of this, now that you have a robot, you can do a bunch of other things that a person may not be so religious in doing. If every time the robot moves, they have a report. Every time the robot moves, it gives you what it covered, what it didn't cover, how long it worked for, and stuff like that. And this metadata is actually very important and very useful for data analysis and to find out there are certain specific areas that your machine or cleaning would be generally difficult. Maybe a crowded space or where it's a built-up area, and if you were to bring out a brown scrubber, it probably can't do its job. If you bring out a human in a mop, it's probably a more efficient method. And then maybe it's a mix, and how we integrate that into the cleaning schedule so that some places will be human and some places human cost is high value. Some places we should run with a machine. Okay. So a little bit more of what the machine really looks like. We wanted something also that will integrate directly to the working station. Integrated working station. So those are covered already. You can clean zone by zone, floor by floor. It should work not just as a standalone, but there can be a fleet of it. So think of like the idea of a swarm. You have a mothership and like 5 to 10 will clean your entire compound. And they know if one is down, this other one will cover it, for example. And we wanted to make sure that the maintenance of the machine is fairly simple. So apart from the machine doing most of the own work itself, cleaning the tanks, if you wanted to switch out a part, you wanted to switch out the squeegee or something, or any part is broken, it should be a quick remove and swap type situation. Yeah, so that's all for robots. And then apart from robots, also back to the whole like ecosystem we have, risk workforce resource management. So what this does is really we decided that if you wanted to measure true productivity, you wanted to put something that would be able to measure that, and putting a wearable on a human on a cleaner would probably be the best idea. So that would be the output. That would be the receiver that would then be. It'd be like if you had a phone and your supervisor tell you something, they had to go through a call. But if the wristwatch is the one that would tell you to do something, give you instructions, then it eliminates a human required to do that role. And that role is fairly like, if a supervisor was there to think about who to give the task to, we can run an algorithm that will do the same thing, essentially. Yeah. So for communication, it's for work order management, it's for resource allocations of who to do what based on are you holding the right tools to do something, etc. And improve productivity. Let me see what's supposed to do. Yeah. So essentially, what we wanted to do was to be able to measure 3 main matrices. We want to find out when we give you an order, how long it takes for you to respond to it. You acknowledge it on the watch in 3 simple steps, and then if after you accepted the job, how long it takes for you to start working on it, because you have to walk back, get a particular tool, drive the machine out, and how long it takes you to clean a particular area. And if you can have these data points over time, we can find out if person A does it in 5 minutes and person B does it in half an hour. Is it because person A is better at his job, or person B is is more diligent and more like detail oriented. So this will tie in with the last part of our ecosystem, which is the quality audit system that will do the inspection to measure and then provide you some actual matrices that you can compare with. This also is based off the cloud. So essentially, you have a workforce of 100 people. They all wear the watch. We know where all them are. We can assign it from afar. We can put in stuff that is periodic, and then we can assign them. And if like suddenly somebody pukes here and you needed somebody to clean it up, you can find out who's the guy that's closest to you, or who has the right tools to do this. Okay, let me just move on quickly. All right. This also integrates with our other smart sensors. So we got sensors in the toilet, sensors in the bins, sensors on the panels, sensors that can pick up information, whether it's the number of people that enter a toilet, whether it's the number of people that, whether it's the level of smell in the toilet, or even down to whether there's toilet roll in the toilet remaining. And then instead of working on what is, we do two scheduled tasks a day, we clean the toilet 2 times a day. We can work on when the toilet requires cleaning, we will clean. Yeah. So this will again reduce inefficiencies and reduce redundant cleaning. Yeah. Or essentially less people will be required to clean a toilet or toilets. Yeah. So this is just to quickly go through this. The feedback panel. If you were upset about toilet, as a user, if you were upset about the toilet, then you wanted to let us know. You can tell us you're upset, and you can tell us what is wrong with the toilet, and then we can immediately, through the smartwatch again, send a message out to get someone to fix it. Yeah. So similar for smart bins. If the bin is full, we'll empty it, and we only empty bins that are full. We don't empty bins that are not full, essentially. Depending on the kind of sensors you put in, you can put in laser sensors, infrared sensors, or ultrasonic sensors. You can probably, with some degree of accuracy, decide if there's water in it, the back may burst, etc., and then we can fill it up. Okay. The last piece of the puzzle is really the quality audit system. So at the end of the day, any cleaning company or any FM industry will come out and then say, I need to audit how well you have done, a performance indicator of sorts. And right now, a lot of inefficiency is in taking photos and then WhatsApping each other, emailing it, and converting to a PDF and an email and then sending it out. We decided that this is not very efficient, and so we wanted to make it a paperless process where it's more green and at real time. So if you were to take a walk with using the software on the tablet, if you were to take a walk with your client and you walked around and said, oh, it's the toilet and this area is not clean and it's dirty, may not be your fault. It may be not that it's dirty, that it's a cobweb or whatever. It may be because the mirror is cracked and it's not the cleaning contractor's fault or the FM's fault. Yeah. And then we just need to fix that. And you get this information in real time and it's shared among everybody that needs to know. Yeah, so we use this right now for a bunch of clients. Our biggest client is SMRT, the train service provider in Singapore, and they use it across 105 stations, and it's quite efficient. In the course of a year, we have about 36,000 submissions. It's quite good. So I promise to summarize on what and how technology at the end of the day can still go back to being green and being sustainable. And I think the two biggest components will be this guy. So robots really save a lot of water, and through water filtration. And these guys, they save paper. But the suite of these guys also is just to remove redundancy. So apart from removing redundant headcount or making them more efficient, it's also about going to solve them or fix or clean the area up when it's required. And more we're seeing a shift in the paradigm of when we do this, and getting building owners also to try and not ask for a scheduled performance base, but a demand performance base. Yeah. So that's all we have for technology, and I'd love to talk to you at the booth if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl. Yes, we always tend to look towards Singapore to see how we can do things more efficiently, right? Especially when it comes to cleaning. Very interesting talk. Okay, our next talk is from GNC Sunrise. By the way, all the presenters have got a booth here, so you can go and visit them later. Okay, so the next talk is by Mr. Josh Ong. He's Assistant Manager at GNC Sunrise, who will be presenting on building cities through sustainable illumination. Josh graduated with Bachelor of Business Management from the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, and he is also a certified carbon footprint assessment reporter. He is currently the second generation of the family business, which has been in the eco-green lighting industry since 2004. Within a short span of a few years, he has executed initiatives for strategic regional expansion, helping stakeholders enjoy both economic and environmental sustainability. So please welcome, join me to welcome Josh. Thank you.
Sharon, this is the speaker, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the laser is in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time today. So I'm Josh, and I'm assistant manager at JNC Sunrise. So for us, we actually solar lighting company, and for us, we actually want to push lightings which is operated by solar, which has green initiatives to it. All right, so I think basically lighting has become a staple in life. All right, when you go to somewhere when there's no light, you actually feel very awkward. All right, you know, like before where lighting is a privilege, now lighting is a staple. And since we're gonna have lighting, why not make it, let's say, greener for the environment, saving you profits. All right, so for us, basically for company profile, we are established in 2014, and our factory is at Nusa Jaya Tech Park, which is just nearby over here. And we actually a joint venture cooperation with RoadSmart, which is our Chinese partner, and we're actually focused on exports in this region. In this region itself. Okay, for us, we actually have an international presence in 80 over countries already, so we're not really new in this aspect. And majority of the countries that actually adopted these systems are in Africa, Asia, of course, because of our Chinese presence, Middle East. All right, all these places, what do they actually have in common? They actually have very big land, and they're actually developing infrastructures. So that is where we can actually come in place for them, because like I said, lighting is a staple, they need lighting, and they are developing their infrastructures. So we actually fit the bill for them. All right, so basically, one will ask, like, where can I actually install solar lightings? And basically, solar lightings are standalone systems, so you can pretty much install it everywhere as long as there's exposure to the sunlight. All right, some of our project references that we have are like Nusa Jaya Tech Park Sales Gallery. So as you can see over here, basically they did not do any underground cablings at all. All right, these systems are all plug and play. So it's very convenient for them, and not only that, it actually saves them a lot of money because they do not have to lay the cables, they do not have to do the excavation work, they just simply have to erect the pole and put on the light, which even if they use a conventional lighting, they will have to do so eventually. So for us, they actually save on the construction cost. We did it in Changi Airport as well, and one thing that I want to highlight about this area is that, as you can see, it's actually bounded by 4 walls. Alright, so as you can see, it's not like the typical open area where your solar lights are supposed to be. So even in this sort of testing situation where the window of sunlight is actually on top, it's probably around 4 hours, 10 to 2 p.m. And even though with such testing conditions, our systems are able to handle such conditions, so we are actually a very efficient system. And they moved on to the next phase, which is another part of Changi Airport, which is the outdoor car park. And we did for MNCs like Pratt & Whitney, which is an aerospace components company. We changed it all for them, and even for Kimberly-Clark. All right, this is another MNC that we actually adopted our systems into. And as you can see, Dubai, one of our overseas projects that we have, they're all barren land, all right, building infrastructures. So what they do, they can, before they even start construction, they can actually put the lights there. It creates a lot of convenience for them during construction phase because now they do have lights, they can do the construction work much better. All right, even for highways in Mexico, Sri Lanka, all right, and one thing to note that this is a coastal area. All right, coastal areas are usually the most corrosive because of the salt content. And even so, our lightings are made of aluminum alloy and they can withstand such corrosion, so no issues at all. Alright, and this is one of our bigger projects, which is in Lebanon, entire highway, 1,500 systems onto it. So basically, how does the solar light actually solve the problem, alright? So, as you can see, I think power outages have been a little bit common nowadays, alright? The past 2 power outages that happened in JB happened within the last 9 months, 2 times. Okay, one was I think 3 weeks ago, on the 6th of September, if I'm not wrong, and last year, December, at Paradigm Mall, where it was a huge blackout, took around 5 days to actually solve the problem. Alright, so this has become an issue for the public. Alright, it creates unnecessary frantic situations. Alright, so with our solar lighting, it actually can solve this problem. So some of the few common problems that we have, if let's say you're going to use conventional lighting, is that there will be exposed cables. Alright, because yes, all the conventional lightings you need underground cablings, but after a few years, it eventually will get exposed due to the degradation of the soil and land. Alright, and this will be a recurring problem. Alright, this is not something that it will stop. It will always occur. Alright, it just means that the cost for the FM team will always be there because you have to keep rectifying these sort of problems over and over again. Alright, it's not going to stop. And you have to constantly start digging and everything. So it's going to be it's a hassle. It's a hassle for everybody. Secondly, vandalism. Alright, I think one, we may not really see it, but sometimes at night, people do actually dig up these wires and steal them. Alright, very interesting. Alright, because of course these wires have a certain value to it. So people inevitably will dig up these wires and cut them and actually take it back home for a resale. Alright, and when cutting these wires, it actually affects the entire stretch of lighting. Alright, so then again, your lightings are affected because all your lightings are actually all cabled up. Alright, lastly, which I mentioned, power outages. Alright, our solar lighting can actually solve these sort of problems. No more frantic situations for the public anymore. Okay, so basically this is our solar light. Very easy, simple, integrated system. So 4 main components. Firstly, the monocrystalline panel. Okay, secondly would be our smart controller, which actually operates and monitors the entire system. Thirdly would be the high efficient LED, and lastly the lithium ion battery, which has the capacity to last for up to 5 continuous nights, which is a 60 hours operational period with one charge of 6 hours. Alright, so we have the battery capacity to last. So you can say that, oh, what if it's raining, it's monsoon period? Definitely no issues because our projects, we have projects in Singapore, pass through the monsoon period. Even the PSI 300 haze 3 years ago, which was really very terrible, our systems have survived and actually did very well. So we do have our track records in that situations. Okay, so we are a solar lighting company, and of course we always strive to improve. Alright, for us, we begin like this. I think this is one familiar lighting that everybody knows. Alright, basically just the lighting, there's a box at the bottom where the batteries and the inverter, everything are. Alright, and as you move on, all the way to the 4th generation, we have improved in terms of the light output, which is a light efficiency, from 80 to 90 lumens per watts to 210 lumens per watts. We've integrated the 4G cloud management system, which I will explain later. We can actually control all the lightings that you have and look at the statuses of your lightings. And lastly, we have a smart controller which operates, monitors, and forecasts the system. I think the perception about solar lighting begins from here. Alright, this is so-called the lower range of solar lightings, and this is where the technology wasn't that good a few years ago. Alright, and people actually get scared of using solar lightings because of such technology. For example, this uses the lead-acid battery. Alright, so lead-acid battery is typically the battery used in your cars right now, and it needs to be changed like 1-2 years time. Okay, but for ours, we use the lithium ion battery over here, which has a lifespan of easily 10 years. Alright, it's a massive 5 times more. And of course, this usually fails because of the battery, because of the inverter, it gets overworked. So people will think that, hey, actually solar light, it's not very good, it always fails. But for us, we have moved on, we have changed, we have improved. And that's why we actually have been into this stage, the 4th generation of lightings, and that's what we want to provide to the clients. Okay, so yes, as our system is a standalone system, alright, it does not need any cabling at all. Alright, so basically this is one of our projects we retrofit. So existing pole, alright, we isolated means we cut the power off the grid. We take out the old fixture, we put in our solar module. It's like wearing a hat, that easy, and it actually works like that already. So in terms of ease of maintenance, it's very easy. You just have to plug and play the system. Alright, and our LED efficiency, 210 lumens per watt, 75% higher than the industry's average LED of around 130 lumens per watt. Means for us, a lower power will give you a brighter output. I'll give you a comparison over here, okay? So normal LED typically is around 130 lumens per watt. And 60 watts, we come out with 7,800 lumens, okay? But for our solar lighting, we are 210 lumens per watt. At 40 watts, we actually have more light output than the 60 watt LED. So that's a key difference between us and the other LEDs out there. And one of our technology, especially for the FM team, will be very, very advantageous is that it's sensor-based activation. Why sensor-based activation? I think conventional lights usually are timer-based, 7 to 7. But for us, we export to many regions of the world, alright? Each countries have their own day and duration of day and night. So there's no specifics to it. So for ours, how does our light turn on is actually by a sensor detection about the light, the surrounding light condition. So for example, in the monsoon period, usually the sky gets darkened quickly, around 6:40, but your timer is around 7 to 7, correct? So for example, this is around 6:40 PM, it lights up by itself as you can see on the background. But on the foreground, the conventional lighting is 7 to 7 timer, so you actually can't light up. So if you want this sort of lighting to light up, your FM team will actually have to manually go down and turn on. Alright, so what we are providing is some sort of ease up your maintenance team in this aspect. You don't have to worry about anything, it will automatically light up by itself. Secondly, our charge and discharge management. So usually the weakest component of any electronics is the battery. And for us, we try to extend the battery lifespan to as long as possible. So with this system, it actually monitors the charging and discharging of your lithium-ion battery, and it actually extends the lifespan to around 10 years. Alright, so basically, just give an analogy. If let's say for your battery, you plug in and charge it for almost like the full day. When you take it out, you actually find that, hey, that it actually drains quite quickly. Alright, because the battery lifespan has been compromised already. So what it actually does is it prevents overcharging and over discharging. So it keeps it at that medium part over there. Alright, so it actually maintains your battery status. Alright, and one of our most interesting, which we just launched this year, which will be our 4G cloud management system, especially for townships, and of course big properties and facilities. Alright, so one concentrator, we're actually able to control 255 lights, alright, for one cluster. Alright, so basically how does it ease up maintenance again? It gives an online remote control, so you're actually able to control individual lights and look at their status. What is the current status, real-time monitoring, performance monitoring, and we can actually collect historical data like how is it performing, what's the battery like, how's the panel, how much the panels are charging now and then, alright, and this actually leads to quicker maintenance. So for example, if let's say something happens to the light, it actually sends an alert to the platform, and your maintenance team can actually know which particular light has a problem. You can actually go there straight away, so that you don't have to actually keep making your rounds anymore already. Alright, so it actually fine-tunes it and actually goes straight to the problem itself. Okay, so basically, I think our lighting is to fulfill the 3 pillars of sustainability, alright, which is your social, environmental, economical, which is people, planet, and profits. Because firstly, people, for green technology like this, I think it's great that we can actually educate the future generations on our green technology, because it's definitely the future technology that we are actually embracing. Okay? And secondly, planet, because ours is zero emission. It's a fully solar powered lighting. Do not need to tap to the grid at all. Means there's no need for artificial power. Everything is solar powered, so it's zero emission. And lastly, profits. Alright? So as we are zero emission, it means you don't have to pay anything for your electrical bills. You don't have to pay anything for your maintenance, because all of the components are high quality components, minimum 10 years lifespan. Alright? So zero operational costs, zero electrical cost, zero maintenance cost equals to zero operational cost. Alright, you don't have to pay anything for your operational cost, which leads to a positive cash flow after you getting your ROI. Why do I actually say that? It's because if let's say you're using conventional lighting, it's inevitable that you will keep paying for your maintenance. You have to switch up your bulbs, you have to kind of maintain your cables, you have to change the lightings, everything. And you have to pay for electrical bills, that's the thing. So you have to keep paying, alright? But for solar lightings, it's a stop. You don't have to do it anymore. That's it. So from then on, you actually have positive cash flow because all this money, this budget that's intended for the lightings, you can actually put it to another use right now. Alright, so yeah. So just to summarize, for our solar lightings, no power outage, longer lifespan, no risk of stolen cables, lower downtime, no electrical costs, no maintenance costs. Yep. So that's the advantages that we actually bring forth to you guys. So if let's say you have any questions more about the technology that we have, you can actually find me at the booth over there with the solar lightings. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Josh. You really stuck to your time very well. And great that we are having more talks on solar. I think it's underutilized in Malaysia with all the sunlight as well. Okay, the next talk is also related to solar, and it is from SolarBee, but unfortunately, Mr. Muhammad Hagazi, he was going to come down from KL to give the talk, but he's very ill, so I got a call late last night that he can't make it. But it's such an interesting topic that, can you put the next slide? I just wanted to share with the audience what he was going to talk about. And if you would like to know more about their products, they actually have a booth here, SolarBee. Okay, so he was going to talk about be your own smart energy provider. And he was going to describe the TNB tariff rates, energy sources, and carbon footprint for energy generation in Malaysia. Next, he would have introduced approved programs by the authorities. So, I mean, how many of you are aware of these programs? Very interesting. To allow normal power consumers to generate their own energy, and what are the other benefits they can get from MIDA to be encouraged to go green, and also how to calculate the return over the investment in green energy after the new benefits. Also, it's going to provide an understanding of the building power consumption, the advice for energy efficiency solutions, and how to plan the suitable size of your solar system. Okay, so if you would like more information, please drop by their display over here. Yes, and now we have the next speaker, Mr. David Ward. He's the founder of the Nurturing Co. And the title of his presentation is very interesting, Building Sustainable Transparency into Your Future Business. David is a leader in sustainable product business development, keynote speaker, and change maker with 26 years experience in providing leadership and management globally. He has founded a number of companies, including the Nurturing Co. and more recently Bibo.cool, both which provide plastic-free alternatives. The Nurturing Co. is a disruptive online-focused business offering a complete range of bamboo-based paper products under its own brand, Bamboo. Bibo.cool is a homegrown filtered water refill station company aimed specifically at helping hotels, schools, universities, and businesses reduce their dependency on plastic bottled water. Today, you will be talking about building sustainability and transparency into your future business. Please join me to welcome David. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to stand here a little bit so I can also see the screen. My name is David Ward. I'm based in Singapore, but I live here. So I want to talk a little bit this morning about the Nurturing Company's experience in sustaining transparency in the way that you're operating. Now, for existing companies, this is quite a change of position. We're a young company, so we've been able to write into our articles of association the way that we wish to operate, and therefore, at any point in time in the future, a consumer or a client can actually see the way that we operate, the mandate under which we operate, and the way that we are and will remain transparent about our own processes. But to give you a little bit of information about our own business, just make sure I'm on the right one. I said we're focused on no plastic solutions. So we have another business which is in the water sector, but in this particular business, the Nurturing Company, we're focused on providing replacement products that have no plastic packaging at all, so both for consumer and for business. And plastic waste is becoming something of a talking point for a lot of people that were not really aware of the issues up until quite recently, even though those issues have been with us for some years. And that is because it is appearing on everybody's social media feed on a pretty regular basis. We've all seen the pictures from National Geographic of birds in plastic bags or whales washing up on beaches and being cut open and finding, sadly, a large amount of plastics inside their intestines. So we're focused on trying to find a way to stop this. So this is what we do. We provide no plastics packaging options. And we've gone back and re-engineered the supply chain to remove the plastic packaging. And I'll give you some examples at the end of what that could actually mean in terms of savings. And this is our brand, Bamboo Loo. It's kind of a humorous name. And it's a brand which is focused on bamboo tissue paper products. For those that don't know the difference between bamboo and tree pulp, bamboo is a grass. You cut it, it grows. You cut it, it grows. This is because it keeps the carbon in the roots, and it is a truly sustainable material. It is grows without chemicals, grows without fertilizers, and some species will grow up to 3 foot a day. So for the fiber industry, this is really the fiber of the future to match the needs of a growing population. So we do a variety of different products in SKUs. We're launching right now, actually, in Singapore with toilet paper, and we do large jumbo rolls, as most of you know, in the sort of facility sector for changing rooms and washrooms, etc. But this is our grab bag, as we call it. So this is a completely plastics-free alternative. There is no plastics at all. Everything is biodegradable and compostable. And the bamboo is 100% virgin bamboo that's grown without chemicals or fertilizers, no optical whiteness. And if you're not aware, bamboo itself is hypoallergenic, which means it's actually better for your skin. It is the only plant in the world that has this component in its DNA, which makes it very suitable for us to use as things like toilet paper or anything that we would be putting close to our own skin. We sell it in singles, we sell it in what we call our grab bag, and we sell it obviously for more for commercial use and business use in 36 roll cases and in 96 case cartons as well. But to talk about how this approach to being transparent is impacting your business and why we need to take more consideration of this is because we've got generational change happening. We've got a generation of people, or generations of people, I should say, who have a lot more information at their fingertips. So if we, I might jump on. How do I point? No, pointer? No, that's not the pointer. That's the pointer. Apologies. There we go. So companies are coming under increased scrutiny from customers and the public at large. So what does this mean? Information about every company is freely available. You cannot hide behind something that you did recently that might have been good to defend a position which has not been so good over the years. The customer will find out. So it requires a bold statement, a bold change of attitude, and those in the facility sector of every company have a great opportunity to influence change inside their own organizations. CSR is not enough. You know, most big companies have CSR departments, and this was always seen as being a way of an indication of a company's determination to work with, you know, green policies across their business. But this, for millennials particularly, or younger generations, is simply not enough. This is not a single department issue. It is not something that a department on its own, working on its own agenda, can resolve. It takes a whole company's decision-making process to change, to bring about a situation where every component of attitude and behavior and action is based on the premise of doing it in the most efficient and effective and least impactful way possible. The intangibles of a business, as most people that will have seen in various different reports over the last couple of years, what's referred to are the intangibles versus the tangibles, the tangibles being the bottom line. And the intangibles are now outweighing the tangibles in terms of the way that people look at companies and whether, you know, investment companies or banks are being judged, or large corporations, and maybe even some of the businesses you guys work with, are being scrutinized as what you are doing for society. What else are you doing to dismantle a process which probably was overutilizing resources in the past and to a greener method today? The internal team can play a huge part in this. As I said, you know, the CSR department's position is now one which a lot of people are looking at and going, this really didn't work. You know, we're still having the same problems. Yes, companies can stand up and say they've reached their CSR goal, but this is not enough. You know, this is not it in changing what we saw in the first slide with the amount of plastics entering our environment, or the devastation we see with deforestation around the world. So it becomes a company-wide requirement for everybody in the company to be aware of the goals and for everybody to be walking towards those goals together. Sustainable options or consumables should be considered wherever possible. There's some great things, as was described by Tim earlier. There are great technologies, there are great ideas out there, joining them together, and you know what Zarali is trying to do, I think, is commendable in this area. But it's, you know, it takes us all in our job to spend the time to look to find the solutions. That is exactly where I started. I arrived in this region of the world 5 years ago and couldn't really find any sustainable products in the stores, and I knew they existed, and I knew the capabilities of factories were there to make them. So I created a company to be able to make those available to other people. And it's that kind of thinking which has to be permeating all the way through a company today, so that, you know, good ideas, as Olga said, can come from anywhere. And this is a pretty big reason why to think about it. This is a Nielsen statistic. 66% of people say they will buy more products from companies that are more socially or impactfully orientated. Now, how do they judge that? If we look at what's happened recently in the press, where Adidas put out a news piece claiming to make a trainer out of reclaimed sea plastic, one would think that's a great idea. You know, in fact, it is. But they got lambasted by the, you know, society in general, because it's just one product amongst thousands that are not made from that. So they've had to scramble back and now say that we'll make more of their range by, I think, 2025. Again, they got lambasted for that, because it's not enough. The consumer today will not wait, because the problem is not easing. You know, it takes big decisions to make big moves, but we have to make them. And the consumer out there is looking for that. Now, when I say consumers, it is people that we work with in business. You know, we're all the consumer. You know, this is the changing attitude of the people we're doing business with. So if we're sitting in a meeting and the person across the table from us starts to ask these questions about what we're doing in terms of improving our visibility, in terms of sustainability, then it is driven by a societal change. It isn't just a person sitting across with, you know, idle questions. So what can be done? So, you know, facilities covers a huge area. Now, my area, you know, that I operate in is primarily the janitorial area, so I'll focus on that in this discussion. But, you know, solar lighting and cleaning and some of the great ideas we're seeing here this morning are also things to consider. But whenever possible, move to be tree-free. Tree-free means using non-wood pulp, toilet paper, tissue papers, these kinds of things. Wherever possible, remove the one-time use plastics. We are incredibly dependent today on the use of one-time plastics, whether it's the drink we get at lunchtime, which normally comes with a plastic cup, a plastic lid, a plastic straw, and even a little plastic handle carry, all of which will go straight in the bin after about 3 or 4 minutes. Encourage a bring your own mindset. We met recently with Singapore Health, and we're sitting in the meeting talking with their facilities team, and we watch a member of staff come in, and we're meeting in the internal cafe at one of the central hospitals, and they literally put their arm around about 15 refilled water bottles, which surprised me. So I asked the question, what's going on? And the facilities manager was very enthusiastic and smiling to say, we've just instigated a new bring your own policy starting actually from next Monday, which was the beginning of August. So the staff are getting themselves ready. We don't let them bring anything which is one-time plastics into the building any longer. So they need to bring reusable plastics for their food, bento boxes, etc. And they must bring a refill water bottle. I thought this was a really great internal initiative. And we were there talking to them about the water program. Look at the options to remove or reduce the amount of plastic bottles that are used, particularly in meeting rooms or in conferences, etc. And it seems customary to offer your guests a bottle of water. That's very good. They may well be thirsty. It's a necessary requirement on a daily basis. But the plastic bottle, sadly, will probably just end up in the rubbish. Only 9% of plastic waste actually gets recycled. The rest of it will kick around the world for about the next 400 or 500 years. So it's a worthy change of mindset to not do that and maybe go for one of the small water chillers like the one that we see over here today. Create awareness. Anything and everything that you're doing to improve what's going on in your company. Excuse me. In our case, we met recently with Cold Storage. We were pitching actually to get them to take Bamboo Loo into the stores. Now that would be the very first time that a business, a supermarket, would be taking in a no plastic wrapping product. And we thought we were going to have a hard time with this because that system is embedded. Literally about 10 minutes into the conversation, the head buyer basically said, stop just for a second. I just want to tell you why we took the meeting so quickly, because normally it's a very long road to get in to see them, and we literally emailed them on a Thursday and we were sitting in front of them on a Tuesday. And she shared with us the amount of pressure that Cold Storage is now getting through its own social media and through consumers in their own stores about the fact that they don't appear to be doing anything about reducing the amount of plastics used across their business. So in every business this occurs, it's just the way it is. It's become customary for us to see products, buy products that are double wrapped in plastic, triple wrapped in plastic, stapled, secured with ties, etc., etc. These are things which have just developed because they suit the production process. They don't suit us as consumers, and they certainly don't suit the world that we're trying to live in. So any opportunity that might exist to be able to remove those, we must take. But we must make sure that people know about it. If we're not going to talk about it and we're just going to do it, then little by little the consumer's mindset will not change towards your business. Social media and public, company announcements or even internal bullet boards, etc., are a great way of sharing the initiatives. And as we come back to that point about, the CSR department, it's their responsibility, that's not really valid anymore. It is, the responsibility of everybody in the company. And sometimes that takes the decision-making process to happen at a higher level, and it can also happen with a groundswell of change, like the bring your own policies that people like the hospitals are putting into place. But ultimately, what we're all trying to do is to build a world that we would like to grow up in. We're all here, we're all adults. Sadly, a lot of younger people look at this as our problem, and they're going to be left to try and resolve it. But they're not really empowered yet to be able to do that. It falls to us to try and make that decision, and it won't be, as Tim said, the small thing that I do today may not make much of a difference, but if collectively we all do something, then it will make a very big difference over a period of time. And I want to share you a statistic. So when we started to look at what we were doing with removing the plastics, you kind of get a picture in your mind as to how much plastics that might well be. And this is not by far the worst offender. The worst offending product will be those little plastic packets of tissue papers that we go around and chop tables with, keep in our bags, etc. But to put some context to it, if just the homes in Singapore for 1 year decided to use a plastics-free option for toilet paper, in fact, what that represents in terms of the amount of plastics not entering the environment, it's 177 million square meters. That's more than double the whole land mass, actually 2.5 times the land mass of Singapore. So we could cling film wrap Singapore twice with the amount of plastic saved just in 1 year on one product. So you guys are all engaged in businesses that probably use an awful lot of products for a lot of different things. So any small adjustments to your supply chain with your suppliers to help remove plastics as much as possible is a good thing, because recycling sadly is not going to save us from the problems that we saw in the first slide and from seeing more images like this in the future in the seas. So that's me, that's my email if you want any more information. Sadly, I can't stay for the rest of the day because I've got to get back to Singapore for another meeting. So it's been wonderful to be able to share this with you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, David. So if anyone wants to get David's business card, better do it now because he's leaving soon. And how many of you were inspired to go back to your organizations and look at how you can implement some changes, small changes, anything that will improve the sustainability and make your operations more eco-friendly? How many of you are thinking about that? Or even at home? Yeah. Sometimes we just need to have the time and, to look carefully at how we do things. Okay, now we're going to have a presentation from Green RE, which is a certification body, and the speaker is Juanita Lourdes, who is the Sales and Marketing Manager of Green RE. She holds a master's degree in Environmental Management from University Putra, Malaysia, and a Bachelor of Science specializing in Environment from Griffith University, Australia. She has over 8 years experience in IEQ, sustainable development and sustainable agriculture. So today she'll be sharing on what is Green RE and the benefits of green buildings. Please join me to welcome Juanita.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm going to be a bit different from all the other presenters so far. We're actually a green building certification company, and so has anyone heard of REDA Malaysia? Okay, so it's a Real Estate Developers Association of Malaysia. They represent about 80% of the private developers in Malaysia, and we're one of the 2 sustainability arms of REDA. We were formed to sort of like an education platform for developers in Malaysia to become more sustainable. So we have Green RE, Sdn Bhd, we're the certification body, and ESG Green Tech. They are a consultancy company for environmental solutions. So a large part of our portfolio is certification, of course, but we also carry out training programs for professionals, engineers, architects, project managers in the field. And our toolkit, it's based from Singapore's Green Mark under their BCA. Singapore's BCA has been around since 2005, and we came into place in 2009. And since then, we have included the Malaysian tools also. We have MS 1525, that's for non-residential buildings. We have UBBL, and also MS 2680 for residential buildings. And all of that comes into place, and we formed a locally developed certification tool. Definitely, to be in Malaysia, we have been endorsed by the local government. We have a DBKL, MBSA, MBPJ, and we're currently also meeting with a number of local authorities around Malaysia. So we recently met with Manjung, Tangka, and Taiping. And all our certified buildings, you are able to apply for tax exemptions, and also in IRDA. We have the MIDA tax incentives and also under an LHDN. And why go green? A lot of misperception is that green buildings are really expensive, but through our green building certification, we'd like to talk about how you can actually, it's a long-term plan where you have cost savings in the future, but our certification itself has, it's very flexible compared to the other tools available in the market. And if you'd like to know more, we have our toolkit with us. It's because we like to focus on two main elements in your building, which is energy and water. And our system is one of the only systems in Malaysia that has a required M&V system to be certified under our toolkit. So this is just a snapshot of a case study that we carried out. So we have 4 different rating platforms. So we have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. We like to say that if you want to go bronze, most buildings in Malaysia are already inherently green, and it would only have maybe 1% max cost premium if you were to convert your existing building to a green building. And of course, if you were to achieve platinum, you would have to go up to about 8%. But your potential energy savings can go up to 40% if you were platinum certified. And these calculations below here, they show you if you were to take a conservative 30% energy saving module, you are estimated to save about 75 kilowatts per year, 75, and it translates to about 1.7 million per year if you were to achieve a platinum certified gold building. So a platinum certified green RE building. And as you know, there are many tools available in Malaysia, and CIDB came up with a report comparing all the tools available in Malaysia, locally and international green building tools. And in the last 10 years, there's actually 10 locally produced green building tools in Malaysia, and starting from since 2009, and green RE came about in 2013. And there's also government mandated building tools such as MITRAS, and that focuses on carbon calculation. So looking at all the tools available in Malaysia, it can get a bit confusing. So if you want this report, it's also available on our website. It shows you the focus areas of these toolkits. So for green RE, this second bar highlighted here is directly comparable to Singapore's Green Mark, and the red area is actually our energy focus. We focus a lot on energy because it is one of the main sources of your cost expenditure in your buildings. And so they've also looked at the comprehensiveness and effectiveness of all the toolkits available in Malaysia, and green RE is one of the top 2 toolkits in Malaysia. And so we have about 7 tools under our portfolio. We have residential, we cover non-residential, healthcare toolkits, infrastructure, and townships. And this year we launched 3 new ones. So all our toolkits come under the portfolio of our technical advisory committee. We meet every 3 months. We come up with new tools. We revamp the old tools. So the technical committee is actually based on experts from Singapore and Malaysia. And we focus on the 6 main pillars, which is energy, water efficiency, carbon emission, IEQ, and other green features. To focus a bit more on FM, this is a snapshot of all the criteria that fall under the 6 categories, which is relevant to FM. So we have, for energy, your air conditioning system, your artificial lighting, and like for water efficiency, we definitely need water efficient fittings under valves, for one. And then for your IQ, we look at your occupancy, thermal comfort, your IAQ, and also our tool needs to be recertified every 3 years. So we would collect data definitely from your FM managers about your water, energy, and waste periodically in the last 3 years. And for our existing buildings, we have a specific chapter just looking at O&M management. And here we collect data on your environmental policies, also pertaining to your waste, water, and energy usage. And especially for waste, we look at your collection and storage facilities available in your buildings to promote your 3 Rs: recycle, reuse, and reduce. And to end my presentation, I'll cover some of our portfolio. So we actually have quite a number of projects in Johor. I think to date we have about 28, and mostly in the west coast of Malaysia. And we have about 150 projects covering about 100 million square feet so far since 2013. And some of our platinum projects, we have the up and coming KL 118, we have SP Setia HQ, and yeah. So these are our gold projects. So we also do a lot of residential projects, stratified projects, and hotels. And this is some of our silver projects. We also do really, really small projects. So Cafe DM is actually a cafe, a refurbished historical building that we certified silver. And our bronze projects. And yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Juanita. So it also makes good business sense, isn't it, to have a green building? And if any of you would like to find out more and engage with the Green RE, they have a booth over here. Okay, now it's your time to share with your counterparts here. And I would like to ask all of you to think about sharing something that you have implemented in your development or in your operations which contributes towards green sustainability. So it could be anything actually, how you're reducing waste, or how you're recycling something, or reducing your carbon footprint. So I believe EcoWorld has something to share here today. Would you like to take the mic?
Alright, my name is Anna. So basically, in EcoWorld, specifically in Ecobotanic, we are trying a baby start on how to actually educate the end user, the resident, on toward the sustainable living. So in Ecobotanic, there's a few green initiatives that we actually provide to the end user, the resident, so that they, in the end of the day, they know and aware on how to actually have a better lifestyle. So a few things that are actually provided by EcoWorld is actually one of it is in terms of the building and also in terms of the facilities. Basically, in terms of the building, we actually provide a few materials that are actually have a green label certificate, which is low VOC paint and also green ceiling and a few other more. So in terms of lifestyle or facilities that are surrounded in Ecobotanic, we are actually providing some sort like composting bin. It's a composting machine bin that actually operated 24 hours and create food waste and garden waste into a fertilizer, and end up we can actually use it to fertilize our surrounding green landscape. So the other one is actually a designated recycle bin, whereby we have a recycle bin that basically people, the end user, can actually go to and separate all their waste inside. So the other things is, as for now, we are actually providing them LED street lighting that fortunately are actually reducing the monthly billing. So what else? Oh yeah, we also have a small patch of edible garden. It's a baby step, and I think the resident kind of like it. So basically it's about 60 meters square only. But I think the mission for all these green initiative is basically people need to do, to create, to change the lifestyle of the people, right? So fortunate for us because Ecobotanic is going for handover 2 years, right? 2 years, and JMB is already on board, and fortunately for us that they are actually maintaining whatever that we are providing for them. Okay. Maybe my colleagues from the resident club want to actually add on a bit.
Hi everyone. Actually for us, we not only just creating this green initiative to our township, and for this Ecobotanic we just handed over 2 years ago. So for this one still is a new township for this area. For us, we try to use this green initiative to connect each others into this city. So we are doing some activities, some events organized to our residents as well. And these are just probably for our residents only, such as we'll get our green consultant to come here to give our residents have a talk about how we promote this green initiative. Like we have the edible garden, like Anna mentioned just now, and also the composting machine. We'll do a demo to show them how we transform this food waste and the garden waste into fertilizer within 24 hours or 48 hours. So by having all this, we actually create another kind of the green community to this society and our country as well. So that's all for the sharing. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, so actually very important part is to engage the community, right? I mean, you can initiate, but you must get the engagement from your community. So that's the challenge sometimes. And I just wanted to mention that today we have an exhibitor called Back Free. So they have got a rainwater harvesting system which can be used for residential or commercial. And it is it's integrated together with a filtration system, so you can also use it as your drinking water. I think Ecobotanic also has some rainwater harvesting right in the homes, and solar as well. Okay, so anyone else like to share? Raul?
Nothing big, but we're a small property investment company, and so we do private rentals, and we also have a self-storage facility which we've just set up at Ecobotanic. And our business consists of tenancy agreements a lot of the times, and that always involves paper, printing paper, lots of paper. So we're now switching to digital signatures, so to avoid having to print every time the tenancy agreement, several copies, etc. So it'll be all digital and no more paper waste.
Yeah, paper. There's a lot of paper actually, and businesses, commercial buildings, they generate mountains of paper, right? But there are ways to cut it down. I mean, of course, it's the first thing you need to do is to reduce. But if you really need to use paper, then you should channel it into the recycling stream, and there are ways of doing it. Even confidential documents can be shredded and recycled. Some banks are doing this as well. Okay, I believe that Knight Frank also wanted to share something. Are they around? Or does anybody else like to share? Or maybe it could be your future plans as well. Okay. Or maybe later, okay. Oh!
Hi, my name's Carol. My company's Exhale. We're an architecture and interior design company. So, pretty obvious, I think we're always looking for sustainable solutions for whatever we're doing in the built environment. Currently working towards LEED certification, if we can. So we are always trying to reinvent what we can do and new products, anyone that can save us time, energy, resources, reduce carbon footprint is something we're constantly working towards. So I think it's not much more than that. It's a constant search for us for products. So this has been really helpful.
Yes, well, we hope to have more products, and like Tim mentioned, with the catalog coming up, like today there's only a few options here, but hopefully with the catalog there'll be a lot more options that you can refer to for different elements of your operations. Okay, now we're going to have some sharing or participation by community groups. So today we have 2 community groups here, and I'll just let them share. I won't say too much about them. So first off, it's about GC Surplus Food, and I think Mr. Kok wants to start off with a video first. So maybe your companies can think about doing a CSR project with them, or helping them with how they need to collect some food items and other stuff. Okay.
Orang yang memerlukan makanan tidak cukup makan. Orang yang ada makanan membuang makanan. Tujuan saya mengutip dan menghantar makanan ialah untuk mengurangkan pembasiran makanan. Surplus Food Collection as social enterprise in July 2017. GC, 积习 in Chinese means accumulation of happiness. The first principle to set up this surplus food collection program is to reduce food waste, specifically edible food. I hope Fresh Marts, restaurants and bakeries will donate their surplus food. As an individual, you can also do your part by bringing your surplus food to our collection center. Together, we can reduce food waste and benefit the underprivileged and underserved community. If you're staying around this neighborhood, we hope you can help in distributing breads and vegetables to the welfare homes. So please contact us. I also hope companies in the society to support business or individual committed to positive social and environmental impact.
我们要做义工，我们要做到我们开心，最重要。
Imagine that so much food waste get generated, okay, in Malaysia, we can feed the whole Johor. That means you do not have to pay a single cent for your food if those food is not thrown away. Okay, my name is Scott. Hey, okay. This is my social work. So every day I go to bakeries and fresh marts to collect roti, breads, okay, and also vegetable. And I will send it to the welfare homes like orphanages, old folk homes, kampung orang asli, okay, and also anybody who need food, like the street scavengers, sometimes security guards, as long as those who need food, right? So I can show you the food I collected every day. So, like these are perfectly edible food. It was produced or baked yesterday, but most of the bakeries they don't sell it today. Okay? Normally we buy bread, we keep it for a second day, right, at home, right? So normally no. So this is perfectly edible, and this is delivered to the welfare homes. Right? You can do that in your area also. I'm based in Nusa Jaya. If you are other areas in Johor or in your country, you can start your operation. You go to bakeries, go to Fresh Mart, collect the food, and send it to the welfare homes. We help to. My first principle is to reduce food waste. Yeah, there's a lot of food waste. Okay? So the breads over here, even though there's some like vegetable, yeah, these are sometimes ugly, quite ugly food, not very presentable. Okay, for you to pick from the shelf, right? But it's definitely edible. So I hope that you will do the same thing. You can join us as a volunteer when you're free. You're not free, okay, you can help us in this way also. You can sponsor, like for example, 1 ringgit for 1 bread. I will pay you forward. That means you take 1 bread over there, or you can call me anytime. Next day I will send the bread to the welfare home on behalf of you with your names. Okay, I can WhatsApp you. You will see me your own photo or your name in my Facebook. Okay. Besides food, also you can surprise. What is this also? Even though some badminton academies they give shuttlecock to me to send it to the orphanages. So besides food waste, there are a lot other waste also. Like some of you can share over here, plastic waste. Okay, no plastics, no straw. Okay, so we just do our part in reducing waste. Thank you.
Okay, great. Everybody can do their part. Some of them lead and then some follow, depends what situation we're in. But anyway, now I'd like to introduce YK. He's from Friends and Strangers. Thank you, YK.
Okay, very because for my voice, I lost my voice today. Thanks for giving me a chance to share what we did for some community works in the streets. The basically idea we started 3 years ago is to provide a place for comfort that people are spending the nights in the street. They have warm packed food in the evening of Friday. So if anyone feel free, can come to our activity on Friday, starting about 9:30 to 10 o'clock every Friday. Jalan Wong Apok, Sikit. At night. So it's actually to provide a place for people to mix around, to mingle, because those people they need a place to find comfort. Besides that, we're not involved with any politics, religion, or race, or whatever. So all sorts of people are just mixed together at the night of Friday night. And so we try to respect each other. We pay respect to the recipients by not taking photos up front. We take photos from the back. Then we also make sure the foods are packed and warm. Later I'll show some pictures. Then we encourage interaction, the harmony among all recipients and volunteers. And also be the ears to the recipient. Let's say if you have any prize, any problem, we are some dedicated providers to listen to them and give us some advice. Hopefully one day we will provide temporary food for them, but hopefully one day they can work out, find a job, and be elevated to find better work in the future. So it's just a community work formed by a small community, few of us are volunteers. We are not NGOs. So anyone are welcome to come on Friday nights, every Friday night without fail, be it Hari Raya, Chinese holiday, Chinese lunar calendar, New Year, we'll be present every Friday without fail. Jalan Sikit, just opposite City Square, there's a big billboard, McDonald's billboard. at the right or Sunrise Gate. Later can see the photo. Okay, so we started in KTM, but middle of year got some problems, so we moved it to Jalan Sikit, Jalan Bong Apok. This is a place that we are operating now. This is the one that this is the project. This is the billboard McDonald. Opposite this side will be the CS, just opposite this area. So we're providing food for the recipient, catering between 120 to 150. We have 1,500 names, but basically every week come in will be about 100 and 130. So once a while, we avoid some birthday party for those birthday months. This is the area that everyone will be very well versed. The Jalan Sikit is over here. So some children will come and they'll pass the food to the recipients. And this is the food we pack now. So I'm very sorry that today is a green talk about a lot of plastic waste. But we have already come up with the idea that that's the best solution we have due to the hygienic purposes. So we're going to pack the food in a warm food. Hopefully they can have a very good food. And this is the food that we're having for them. They look forward for this because hardly they can get a pack of food. Then with some breads and biscuits and water as well. Okay? So we're not recycled the food, but those who want to provide breads and biscuits and water, we're welcome. Contact us via our Facebook Friends and Strangers. Okay? And lastly, you may join us, but because we also run some program for UniKL, some students, the lecturer actually will break them what they do for the community, like the social responsibility work. And if anyone got any interest, can come over on Friday nights, talk to us and contact us for any activities. All right? That's all. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing that. So next time you're thinking of a different type of CSR project, please think about this initiative, okay? Alright, so we're going to wrap up now. Just 3 things before you go. Well, you're welcome to stay on and network. Before you leave, can you just drop this tag into the basket so that we can recycle it? And just wanted to let everyone know that all the information, like the podcast of each speaker, and also the information about all the companies exhibiting, how to contact them, will be on this website, zureli.green. Okay, just look for Green Talks with FM. Tim, anything?
Well, this leaves it to me to thank you for coming, and I hope you've learned something. I certainly have. There's certainly some cool ideas out there. Green Talks is all about networking and information, so if you can go and talk to some of these guys about their solutions, that would be great. So many thanks for your time. Thank you.